They say some roads lead to nowhere. But what they don't tell you is that some roads don't let you leave. My name is Arjun, and this isn't just another ghost story. I wasn't a believer in the supernatural until that night. It was the winter of 2018 around 2 a.m., and I was driving back from a business meeting in Shimla. I had decided to take a lesser-known route through a stretch of forest in Himachal Pradesh called the Kangar Bypass, a shortcut that my GPS swore would save me 45 minutes. The road was empty. Not a single soul in sight. Just the sound of my tires on the cracked tar and the occasional hoot of an owl. At first, the silence was calming, peaceful. But then the fog started to roll in, thick and unnatural, like smoke from a fire that wasn't there. That's when I noticed something strange. The radio in my car, which had been off the whole time, suddenly turned on. A soft whisper came through the static. Not a song. Not a broadcast. Just a whispering voice in a language I couldn't understand. I reached out to turn it off, but before I could, my headlights flickered. And standing on the side of the road, just ahead, was a woman in a red sari. Her back was to me, barefoot, motionless. I slowed down, rolled down the window, and called out to her. No answer. I honked. Nothing. As I got closer, she turned around, slowly, and I swear to you, her eyes were pure black. No whites. No pupils. Just two hollow pits. And then, she smiled. I slammed the accelerator, speeding past her, heart pounding so loud it felt like my chest would explode. I didn't dare look in the rearview mirror. I just wanted to get the hell off that road. 10 minutes later, I saw a sign, Kangar exit, 2 kilometers. Relief washed over me. But it didn't last, because when I took the turn, I ended up right back where I started. The same stretch of trees, the same fog, the same broken mile marker that read KM 13. My hands trembled on the steering wheel. I turned the car around and drove in the opposite direction. 5 minutes in, my headlights lit up something in the distance. It was her again, standing in the middle of the road. Same red sari, same black eyes. I swerved to avoid hitting her and crashed into a ditch. The car shut off. My phone had no signal. I was stuck. That's when I saw something that still haunts me. Dozens, no, hundreds of handprints on the inside of my windshield. Tiny ones, like those of children. I hadn't seen them before. I hadn't touched the glass, but they were there all over. Suddenly, a loud knock hit my window. I looked, nothing. Then another, louder, closer. And then a voice whispered through the glass, "You don't belong here." I stayed locked inside the car until sunrise. The moment the first light broke through the fog, everything changed. The handprints vanished. The fog began to lift. My car started on the first try. I drove like hell and didn't stop until I reached a roadside dhaba. The owner, an old man with deep lines on his face, saw how shaken I was. "Let me guess," he said, handing me a cup of chai. "You took the Kangar bypass." My eyes widened. "You know about it?" He nodded solemnly. "You're not the first. That road, it's cursed. Has been since 1997. A school bus full of children crashed there. Fog rolled in suddenly. They say the driver saw a woman in a red sari and lost control. Everyone died. Since then, people who take that road at night either don't return, or if they do, they're never the same." I showed him the handprints on my windshield. He didn't even flinch. They're the ones who still roam that road, lost, waiting for someone to notice them. You were lucky. Others, not so much. He pointed to a wall filled with pictures, missing people, young old families, all last seen near that bypass. Some of the photos were decades old. "Why isn't it closed off?" I asked. He looked at me and said something I'll never forget, "Because the road doesn't let people leave unless it wants to." I never took that route again, but the experience changed me. I couldn't sleep for weeks. I kept seeing her, in dreams, in mirrors, sometimes even on empty roads. Once, I woke up to find muddy footprints on the floor of my apartment. I live alone. I even got therapy, but nothing helped. A few months later, curiosity got the better of me. I went online, searching for others who had similar encounters. I found a forum post titled "Red Sari Woman, Himachal Horror." It had over 300 comments, people sharing the same loop. The whispers, the fog, the black-eyed woman. One comment chilled me to the bone. Read, "If you saw her and escaped, don't look back. If you ever dream of her 3 times, you won't wake up the 4th. I had already dreamt of her twice. That night I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with all the lights on. Around 3 a.m. my doorbell rang. What? Then again louder. Relentless. I peeked through the eye hole. No one. But when I turned around, she was there. Inside. Her smile wider than ever. Her eyes empty. And the last thing I remember before I blacked out was her whispering, "Now you belong to the road."